Hello and what is up guys, right here and welcome back to some more automation and of course BeamNG.Drive. So about a week ago, I made a video about building the most reliable car possible in automation and it was pretty good, it was pretty reliable, about 117 reliability score in automation. So what we're doing today is we're going to be doing the exact opposite. We're going to be building the least reliable car possible in automation with it still working. So there's a caveat, the car still has to work in BeamNG.Drive perfectly fine, but in automation it's got to be absolute garbage. You know what, it's going to be similar to some cars, like the Nissan Juke, which is the body that we're using. It's a new mod body, and I actually really love the Nissan Juke's body. The design is just kind of questionable, and we're going to do a questionable design probably today, and that's okay. So what we're doing, we're going to design and build the least reliable car possible, using everything in our power to make it super unreliable, but still have more than 0, so it's got to have at least 0.1 reliability to still function in automation and in BeamNG, and then hopefully in BeamNG, it drives absolutely terrible and it breaks down, but we'll see. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Let's start off the build here. Space frame fiberglass, I think that's the least reliable, just the worst overall. This doesn't matter, we can do light AHS steel, it's lighter, that sounds pretty good. We can do rear engine, that's so weird, we'll do rear engine, that's so awful. The most useless cargo space in the back ever, I lied, I didn't even notice that. We'll do push rod and double wishbone, that is the most unreliable setup there. Minus 15 quality, because that's going to be a little worse for reliability. New engine, so this car is going to look relatively normal. It might be a little out there, might be a little ugly, that's okay, but it's got to be absolutely unreliable. So it's going to be a boxer engine. Boxer engines, they are a little more complicated than something like an inline engine, which will be more reliable, obviously. And a little less common than a V engine, like a V6, V8, etc. And a boxer engine is just a lot more fun. Dual overhead cam, 5 valve per cylinder, the most advanced head and block material. Now, the size doesn't matter all that much. We can actually have a huge engine in. We can have a massive engine in here. We can have a 4.4 liter boxer engine. My gosh, that'd be huge. But we need this thing to rev, but not rev to, like it needs to rev to at least 10,000 probably RPM. So it's going to sound fantastic. If you guys want to stick around to at least the end of the video, you're going to hear the amazing sound of BeamNG, because at 10,000 RPM flat 6, it sounds pretty cool if I do say so myself. We'll make it a 2 liter flat, so a 2 liter boxer 6 engine, which is super quirky to begin with. All cast internals. We'll give it a VVT all cams, minus 15. No, we'll do this in 0 quality for now, because it's got to run. Turbocharger, we'll go for like a performance tune for now. We'll go for mechanical fuel injection. I know, mechanical fuel injection, what are you thinking? This car, although it's 2020, it's not supposed to be based off anything. It's not realism is out the window. This car is not supposed to be realistic. It could look realistic, but it's not going to be realistic. It's going to be the least reliable car possible. There is no budgetary needs. There is nothing. Nothing matters except for making this car unreliable. Single mechanical fuel injection, that sounds reasonable. Race intake is more unreliable. The fuel doesn't actually affect reliability, so ultimate fuel is totally fine. We'll go for minus 15 as well there. We'll go for dual exhaust. None of these, because it's gonna sound great. It's gonna sound great in BeamNG. It can't do anything but sound great. So far, it knocks 100%. We don't want that. Let's increase this rev to 10,000. So as long as it's not minus 100, then it's perfectly fine. 12,000 RPM, 2 liter boxer 6. There's a lot of valve flow, but we can actually increase the quality of this just a little bit. So it can go to minus 7%. We're still at 0 reliability because the pistons and conrods are physically dead. So there we go, 97%. There's 0.9 reliability. It still runs though. If we start it up right now, it sounds great, and it still runs perfectly fine. We need more fuel, I think. Now, the only other way we can get more unreliability, or more reliability, or less reliability, I guess, we can give it more power, and we can make it knock just a little bit. There's 0.8, 0.6, 0.5. I don't want to knock too much, because there is issues with the knocking in BeamNG sometimes. I might have to go ahead and tweak this just a little bit, because it does knock sometimes. So, 0.7, we'll go for 0.6, 0.5 is fine. So 0.5, 0.3... So 0.3 seems reasonable. I think we can get it down to 0.1. But right now, it makes 82 horsepower. That's not a lot. If you don't know anything about cars, it's going to sound great. That's not a lot of power. We're going to choose, we can either choose the hatchback body, which I guess this is a hatchback, or the SUV based. It's the exact same. It's going to be a 5-door because that's kind of quirky. It'll be an SUV. That's reasonable. We can lower this quality slider to minus 15. That'll make it less reliable. All-wheel drive. That actually will help and make it more unreliable. We don't need it though, but we'll do it anyways. Now, in theory, advanced auto 9-speed is actually the most unreliable for my testing. with I think an electric LSD and minus 15 quality. Actually, I don't know if this affects it that much. We'll leave it on 0. The wheels, that doesn't affect the reliability either. We'll just go for thick wheels because honestly, why not? If you know, it's gonna have a grip. Carbon fiber plus 15. There's no budgetary restrictions. We can have minus 15. We can have plus 15. The budget doesn't matter. It's a concept car. It's a design exercise. I don't know. Call it whatever you want. The brakes, we'll go for just really lightweight brakes because this thing is gonna handle pretty well too. Honestly, like if this thing can handle and be unreliable, then that's pretty cool. I feel like the seats don't. This doesn't really matter. Just, oh god, no. You know what we need? We need 4 seaters. Come on, we need 4 seats. Luxury and handmade is actually more unreliable, I think. Don't quote me on that. Variable hydraulic, ABS, advanced 20s, active sport I think is more reliable. 3 point, no, what's the reliability? It is 0.5. So right off the bat here, we are at 0.5 reliability. Before any fine tuning, we're at 0.5 reliability. It gets 3.4 miles per gallon. Wait, do we need safety? We don't need safety. That doesn't affect, no, it does actually. Very, very minorly. So what I'm going to do is a bunch of tinkering. I think I'll do a bunch of tinkering to make sure this car actually gets down to the reliability we desire. I want to get it down to 0.1. So what we're going to do is I'm going to design the car in a time lapse and also tweak the things like, you know, the suspension, make sure it gets down to reliability. It's got to get to 0.1 reliability. And once I do it, you know, then that's it. That's a record. And it's going to work perfectly fine in BeamNG. You mark my words. It's going to be perfectly fine in BeamNG. Reliability is a complete sham, and no one should worry about it ever. I'm going to design this car, I think, similar to the Nissan Juke. It's going to be quite ugly, because this is a really quirky mod body that came out recently, and I love it. I love the Nissan Juke. It's just so weird. I love it. A lot of people think it's ugly, and I do too, but it's so quirky looking, and I kind of respect it for that. So what I'm going to do, I'll design the car in a quick time lapse. We'll go over the car and the newfound reliability record that I'm going to hold myself. And then we're going to hop into BeamNG and see what this car can really do. So sit back, relax, guys, and of course, I hope you enjoy. And now we are finally starting the design for my most unreliable car ever. I mean, probably the most unreliable car ever. 0.1 reliability is the goal, guys. Starting off with the front fascia, it's got this T-shaped upper front fascia with the headlights and the main very, very, very large center grille. With a sort of Cadillac Escalade-ish front bottom fascia with the side vents, which is actually where the headlights are going to go. This car is going to have the DRLs, or the daytime running lights, the LED strips up top that aren't actually the real headlights, and the actual projector bulbs will be down below in the corner side vents that we have so far. What I'm doing here is sort of copying the Nissan V-Motion grille with this sort of thick plastic or you know, painted cladding around the edge of the grille, and then I'm just detailing it with some piping and stuff just to give it a bit more detail, a bit of a texture to the front end, adding some more chrome trim around that. So it's gonna have a few layers. It's gonna have the outside, it's gonna have the black trim, and then the chrome trim inside that. We are adding the DRLs now. It's gonna have this sort of dual DRL setup on the very top, and again on the bottom there will be the actual projector running light. You actually use it to drive at night, etc. I just tinker with a quick grille design for the inner grille, and then I sort of end up with this, not really a waterfall, but sort of just these, you know, weird rectangular bits across the entire front of the grille. Adding a quick neon badge to the front because this is going to be a neon branded vehicle. I don't have a name yet, but I will have a name shortly. Adding a few details to the front end, trying to flesh out the front end really. This part took me quite a bit of time to get right, to actually add the real headlights in, but the final design, I'm very, very, very happy with that. Adding a bit of details there, adding with this basic sort of quad projectors on the front end, which I do end up getting rid of later on. I do change the color of the grille highlights to black now, adding more details in the side intakes where the headlights are going to go, and sort of changing the shape, cutting off into 2 different areas, an upper area and a lower area, and just sort of playing with that to see where I want the headlights, what size I want the headlights, etc. I was going to make them a bit of a weird shape flowing with the rest of the car, but I decided not to because it creates some very awkward lines with the intake there. I do play around with these dual circle headlights, and then I do finally switch just to one big circle projector that's with like a weird sort of rectangular shape next to it. Adding a few details here, there, adding a bulge to the hood, adding some more details to the front, some stance in the tires, and then the bottom front fascia is pretty much done now. Just a few things that needs to be tinkered with later. I added the mirrors in, adding a bit of cladding to the front to give it a bit of extra detail that, again, we will tinker on later in the build. The side is very simple, honestly. A lot of modern cars have very clean sides with not a lot of details in them. No badging, nothing is really needed, just some simple door handles. And basically making my own door cutouts to make sure the doors actually look functional, which I do tinker on off camera at the very end of the video, but you know, I just do tinker with them later. Adding some wheel arch cladding around the entire car, or the front at least, which I go to the back later on, obviously, which I'm starting now, with the rear taillights. These also gave me a bit of trouble. I wasn't too sure exactly what I wanted to go for at first. I was trying to mimic the flowing shape of the rear end to have my own taillights, but I decided to actually just change it up and completely go with taillights that were going to be flowing with the front end. So I want to have very similar taillights as the headlight setup is, and I do tinker with this even more. I actually go ahead and stretch the taillights all the way across and make them a very similar shape to the front DRL section of the Neon branded vehicle. Just adding some indentation to the vehicle where the license plate's going to go, or where it would go, but we don't actually add one ever, because who needs a license plate, really? Come on. Adding more details to the lights, or the rear tail lights of the vehicle, then adding more details to the license plate area, etc, etc. Now it is red. I'm starting to add the running lights now inside. The taillights are actually super easy to make. They look decent. They're not crazy detailed, just a few things here or there, just some white areas for the reverse lights on the car. Changing the color here and there, we finish off with this nice light blue. The back end, the back rear fascia, the bottom of the fascia, I want to have this kind of aggressive, kind of sporty thing going on. I do finish off the cladding around the whole car. And I do add just these vents here, just add some details. They do curve into the rear tail lights. And then adding a fake exhaust, which is a lot more trouble than it really was worth. And it looks a little bit worse than I wanted, but that's okay. We have this sort of triangular, rectangle-shaped exhaust cutouts that are the same shape as the primary grille, etc. Adding the neon badge and the QSR emblem, and playing with a wing for a little bit of time, adding some windshield wipers, a third brake light, etc. And in front of us is the 2020 Neon Extravaganza QSR. Alright guys, so like I said, in front of us is the 2020 Neon Extravaganza QSR, and it's looking pretty darn sharp, I feel like. In automation, in BeamNG it's going to look terrible, but everything looks terrible in BeamNG. So before we go over the design and all that goodies and stuff, we're going to go over the specs. I did change a few things since we, before the time lapse. The car is fully carbon fiber monocoque and carbon fiber panels, front wheel drive instead of being a rear engine rear wheel drive, it's front engine front wheel drive. The reliability is down to a whopping 0.1 reliability. It still works in BeamNG, but it's 0.1 reliability, which is absolutely mind-bogglingly terrible. 3 mpg it gets. Get the quarter mile in 18, which is actually respectable for a car with only 88 horsepower. It's got 88 horsepower. So the engine is now 1.8 liter boxer 6, revs to 9,900 RPM, 88.5 horsepower. It has got DCOEs, triple carbs, race intake, twin turbo. Look at this. The year's 2020. What are we doing? What are those? What is this? Well, I know that's a nice valve cover, not gonna lie. The engine is absolute garbage. It's got a reliability rating of 0.1 as well. It's knocking, but it's still gonna work in BeamNG. I promise you that. Yeah, so we did change it to carbon fiber. So it's got carbon fiber panels and chassis now. Front engine, front end transverse. This doesn't affect the reliability, none of this did. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the design and then hop into BeamNG and test the car out. So in front of us we have this big, bold, neon front fascia, with these sort of almost like a hook-shaped headlights, but they aren't actually the headlights, they're actually the daytime running lights, as well as the turn signals, and those are up here, so this area. There's no headlights here, these are not the headlights. We've got an LED daytime running light, and we got LED turn signals down below. We also have, this is the actual headlight. As you can tell if we just go to this, these are the actual headlights. They look kind of glitched out, but they'll function fine in BeamNG probably. The neon emblem, the badging, is right out in front of us with this sort of weird squarish, rounded square pattern inside it with this chrome and this black plastic. It's all a big, it's a debacle really, and it looks really cool. I like how it looks personally. A lot of people probably don't. But yeah, that's how it looks. The bottom front fascia, we've got this sort of bottom intake for air suck down there, some more air suck right there. The headlights right there. We've got a hood bulge, some more air suck Some huge, really massive wing mirrors, but that's fine. The wheels, the color went away, but they were black and chrome. We made our own custom door, what is this, like a door gaps? We made our own custom door gaps because I wanted them to still be there. The door handles are disgusting, but you know, they're fine. The back end, it's a lot more simplistic. There is no extravaganza badging in the back end like I was saying earlier, but there's no need to have any because the name is just too darn long. We do have a QSR badge, which looks pretty sporty. Twin outlet exhausts, even though they're both fake in the exhaust, would in reality just dump out the bottom because where else would it really dump, I guess. So yeah, that's the design of the extravaganza. I'll put a link to download the car down below so you guys could download the car. I do plan on fully swapping the engine to make this thing into a realistic build. I know some people are probably like, why did you make a meme car with a non-meme design? Because I think it was a lot of fun. Honestly, this car was a lot of fun to design. Probably my most fun ever for a video to design a car. And I say that a lot, but each build I try a little bit harder to make it a little bit nicer looking, a little bit more detailed, usually. So yeah, we'll hop into BeamNG, we'll see how this car drives. We've got a hitch in the back, nothing else is really needed. I'll see you guys in BeamNG in just a sec. Alright guys, so we're in BeamNG.Drive with the Neon Extravaganza QSR, and it looks actually kind of okay in BeamNG. It's not the best looking car. The turn signals, they work. The headlights, I don't think they're going to work well. I won't even try them, they'll look bad. So we got the Extravaganza in front of us. What a mouthful of a name, not gonna lie. It's a lot of name for a small car. But yeah, it looks good. It sounds very loud. Very loud. It runs. It doesn't die on us instantly. It revs very quick too. It makes like it makes like a 1.2 bar. That's actually not bad. So we're gonna hop into just drive here. Go for a bit of a quick drive. We're not doing a 0 to 60 test right now, even though I've got the timer up. The roof is just nice reflective chrome. Let's see how it handles around the industrial course here. Just nice and casually. Okay. Okay, I was not ready for that, but it was actually doing okay there. Well, let's try again here. Let's go this way. Oh yeah, this is not the best track for this. This thing's got semi-slick tires, so it's gonna have a lot of grip on the pavement, but not on any off-road kind of track. It sounds pretty good. It's a 10,000 RPM or 9,900 RPM flat 6. I don't know what else you could really want. Oh boy. Imagine this is you reversing. It's so loud. Oh gosh. So we have no traction control. It says ESC in the bottom right there, but that doesn't actually work. It's just a glitch, a visual glitch. Because we are not using any electronics at all. We are not using a electronic fuel injection system. We're using just carburetors, DCOE carbs, so race carburetors at that. So it's a little interesting. The top speed is so terrible. It's got, what, 2 overdrives? Or 3 overdrives? We got, like, what, 5? We got 6, 7, 8 as overdrives? 7 and 8, I think, for sure. It's so slow. Like, wait, let's go in first person. Let's just launch it. I think we'll hop into the jump arena, too, and actually test that. I just want to see what this thing could do. So it should do 105 in 5th. 10.9. That's actually slower than what we got in automation, I think. That's okay. Come on. Oh, that was not good. Let's respawn it right here. So you know what? It drives pretty good. Oh, doesn't it doesn't even work anymore. I think it's very iffy working this car in BeamNG. It still works perfectly fine, but sometimes it just does not like to run at all. There we go. Because this engine, for all intents and purposes, should not be working at all. This car, it's got 0.1 reliability. And it still works in BeamNG, but not well. But it's functional. As long as you don't crash into a concrete wall, whatever that was. Even lost the tires somehow? Well, that sounds about right. The car actually does pretty good in all sense of the word. It's actually a decent car. It just revs up to 10,000. I think what we gotta do is change it to a proper engine, and I'll make it a real EV or a real hybrid, I think, is what we're going to do for the future. We're going to hop into the jump arena, and we'll hop into a track test, and we'll see what this thing can do for distance for the jumping, and we'll see what this thing can do on a real lap. And we're in the jump arena now with the Neon Extravaganza QSR. And the name, Extravaganza, well, that's a weird lighting glitch right there. The Extravaganza, is it glass? I don't even know. But Extravaganza is such a cool name. I can't get over how cool, I just love it. It's my single favorite name for a car ever. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do. So let's do the Car Drive Arena. Let's just launch it. We'll go and, oh god, that was weird. We were in sport mode, but it did not want to shift. This car has a lot of weird things it does. I don't know. The turbo completely dies at 9,000 RPM, though. Oh god, that's not good. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We don't need the engine anyways. Let's just do like this. And crash it. Ooh, 240, I think? That's not bad for distance. Oh god, my steering wheel's not liking this. Oh god. That wasn't bad, actually. And right in the pool. Look at that, we won. That was a victory. Let's do one more. It doesn't like going over 9,000 RPM for some reason. I don't know why. It's acting so weird. This is the weirdest car I've ever had driving-wise. It's just really weird. And the engine's fine here. Let's take it nice and straight. Can we actually land it properly, please? No, we're gonna flip it? Yeah, we're gonna flip it. Okay. Not bad. That was a decent distance, too. That wasn't bad. The car doesn't run anymore, obviously, because the engine blew up while driving. But, you know what? I think it'd be perfectly fine in reality. This is definitely the least reliable, most reliable car. Let's hop into an actual track. I want to get a proper track time, no matter how terrible this car is. I think it's going to handle well, but we'll have to see. So last but certainly not least, we are in a Hirochi Raceway short race circuit. We're going to do 2 laps with the Extravaganza. I don't know if it's going to do a great time. Like 2 minutes is like the best time I have so far. We're going to go in first person for this and just launch it. It just spins in first badly. You know what? 88 horsepower is not a lot. The car weighs about 2,400 pounds, so it's pretty light on its feet, actually. It's still underpowered compared to like every contemporary car that it competes against, but it's not terrible. It grips really weirdly. Oh my gosh. Well, we'll go over here a little bit. So the back end slides out from under us. Really strange. I did play the quality sliders a little bit, so now some things are plus 15, like the transmission, etc. Because it actually didn't affect reliability more than 0.1. So, that's okay. As long as there's a point of reliability, it's totally fine. Okay, we're cutting corners a little bit. It's really strange to drive. I'll leave a download link below. You guys can download this car and play with it in BeamNG. Come on. It's so slow. It's not even funny how slow this thing is. This is like a compete against the Miata. This is like a Miata competitor, honestly, even though it's like a crossover. And it weighs probably more than Miata, and it's front-wheel drive with a 6-cylinder. I don't know. It totally competes against the Miata. Performance-wise, at least. 0 to 60-wise is actually slower by quite a bit. But it's actually kind of fun to drive around here. The back end slides out just a little bit, almost. So 1 lap is a very brisk 1:23, which is actually, I think, my slowest lap on record. It's that bad. Hopefully we can get a 1:15 on this. He's losing speed in that corner somehow. Come on. Not bad speeds. Oh, it is actually a lot of fun to drive somehow. You guys should drive this thing. It's actually a lot of fun to drive. It's slow. And, like, it definitely needs some more power, because it really dies off power-wise in, like, 8,000, 9,000 RPM. That's where it really dies. But we're going to bring it anyways, because it sounds really good. I mean, not really good. It sounds interesting. So I think a proper, not a Boxer 6, maybe a Boxer 4 would be this thing. You know, turbo hybrid, 300 horsepower. If it was a hybrid or something, it would be pretty cool. We'll keep it in 5th, 6th. Under 115 would be ideal for this thing. Come on, if we can do 115, I'll be really happy. Come on. 114. No! 115.9. I'll take it. 115.9. That was actually pretty bad. My 8th fastest time. I've only got 11 times in total. So it's as slow as another car called the Spitfire Sport, and I think that was a K car. Yeah, and the Futuro GV, which is a terrible economy car. and the Marvel GE, which is another terrible economy car. So this thing is right up there with other terrible cars. It actually did okay, close to the RZR Turbo, which was my off-roader. So not bad. That thing's I think it weighs like 500 pounds less, 600 pounds less, 1,000 pounds, I don't know, a lot less, and it's got more horsepower. So this thing handled really well. Tons of grip. We're gonna go to free roam here and just hang out for a second here. Look at this. Look at that. Let's respawn it. So yeah, download the car, link in the description. Make sure to join the Discord, link down below. If you want to see more videos like this, where I build the most reliable car, kind of something like that, you know, maybe I'll build the fastest car ever, which that's coming up, don't you worry. The best MPG ever, you know, that's coming up too. But fastest car ever, guys. Fastest car in automation, I'm thinking 2,000 kilometers an hour is the goal here. And that sounds crazy. And it is, but it's doable. Mark my words, it's doable. So, with that said, join the Discord, link down below. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. Let me know down below right now. Stop what you're doing. Pause the video, comment, then come back. Yeah, guys, I guess make sure to subscribe and whatnot as well. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time. This thing is just depressing. My gosh, it's bad.